shattering the illusion is not a small act. It is a rebirth. You've likely been taught since childhood that the mind is what you think with, the body is what you live in, and the spirit, if mentioned at all, is some ethereal mist hovering somewhere out of reach. This compartmentalization is one of the greatest limitations of our age. It has given rise to a culture of fragmented beings, each trying to treat symptoms of the soul as problems of the body or glitches of the mind. But what if that fragmentation isn't truth? What if your very nature is wholeness, and you've simply been hypnotized into forgetting? We walk around every day believing we're separate, from each other, from nature, from life itself. But physics, yes, even the world of quarks and electrons has a different story. In quantum theory, particles are not solid, discrete things. They're waves of possibility, existing in fields that overlap, influence, and respond. This means the boundary between you and not you is fuzzier than it seems. And perhaps that fuzziness is where the real magic begins. When your thoughts feel stuck, when your body aches, when your emotions swing like wild tides, it's not because they're malfunctioning in isolation. It's because something deep inside is misaligned with truth. But alignment isn't perfection. It's resonance. Like a violin string tuned to the right pitch, a human being in alignment vibrates in harmony with life, not against it. This is the first and often most painful realization. The external chaos you face is a mirror. It reflects not your worth, but your waveform. You're not being punished, you're being shown. And this is where many turn away, because it is far easier to blame the world than to tune the self. But what if tuning yourself is the very act that changes the world around you? What if the power to shift your life doesn't begin in action, but in frequency? Your mind is not a separate machine. It is an antenna, decoding the reality your vibration makes accessible. Your body isn't just flesh, it's a field. Your spirit isn't distant, it's the conductor of the orchestra. This is the quantum secret hidden in plain sight. You are not a singular solid object. You are a layered, living field of energy. And energy by nature seeks harmony. So what does that mean for the sleepless nights, the anxious mornings, the relationships that cycle and repeat? It means they're all feedback. Every tension, every high, every moment of synchronicity or stagnation is life's way of saying, here is your frequency, reflected. When you feel disconnected, it's not because something is wrong with you, it's because you've wandered from your signal. The real you, the one beyond personality, beyond trauma, beyond ego, isn't lost. It's simply quiet beneath the noise. And quiet doesn't mean absent. It means waiting. What if your job is not to force your way into a better life, but to clear the static, adjust the dial, and hear the music that was always playing? What if wholeness isn't something to achieve, but something to remember? Here's where you begin. Not by effort, but by attention. Notice how you breathe when you're afraid. Notice the thoughts that repeat when you feel small. Notice how your body reacts to certain people. Each of these is a breadcrumb, each is a clue. You are not separate parts, you are one instrument, out of tune. But the song is still in you, and this is your invitation to retune, to remember, to rise. There's a strange magic in knowing you are the observer, and yet still deeply affected by what you observe. Quantum physics calls it the observer effect. The act of watching changes the thing being watched. In the lab, particles behave differently when measured. In life, people behave differently when believed in. This isn't just poetic, it's energetic. Because where attention goes, energy flows. And what you expect becomes a silent instruction you send out into the quantum field. If you believe deep down you are not worthy of love, you will scan the world for proof of it. And life, obedient, loyal, and non-judgmental, will show you only mirrors that reflect back that belief. Not because you're cursed, but because your belief is a frequency, and reality is simply echoing your inner hum. So pause. Ask yourself, where in your life are you still chasing something you don't believe you deserve? Your answer is the map. The misalignment isn't in your dream, it's in your belief. A misbelief isn't just mental, it's vibrational. Think of it like trying to tune into a radio station you love, but your dial is just slightly off. You hear static, distortion, pieces of the song, but not the full harmony. That's what life feels like when you want abundance, but carry the static of fear. When you crave connection, but broadcast self-doubt. To understand how this applies in real life, think of someone you've met who walks into a room and shifts the energy, not by speaking, but by being. That person radiates something aligned. You can feel it. Their presence is coherent. They know their worth, not with arrogance, but with peace. They're not proving, performing, or persuading. They're simply being. That is the effect of belief aligned with truth. That is coherence. And coherence is contagious. You don't have to convince the quantum field of anything. You only need to stop contradicting your own signal. When your desire says yes, but your belief says no, the field receives mixed instructions. You manifest contradictions, half yeses, almost there results, fleeting joys that vanish just as you reach for them. The universe isn't denying you, it's matching you. This isn't punishment, this is precision. That's why the real work of manifestation begins in the unseen. You don't change your life by fixing the outside first. You shift the energy that generates it. And that energy is belief. The deeper the belief, the stronger the current it sends into the field. Have you ever noticed that when you truly believe something is meant for you, things move? Not always logically, not always quickly, but undeniably. That's not luck, that's congruence. The world bends around the one who knows, not intellectually but somatically, that they belong. The question is, what do you believe you belong to? If you want peace but believe you are chaos, if you want love but believe you are a burden, if you want expansion but believe safety is in shrinking, then you'll experience a loop. The field mirrors not your wishes but your conviction, so the work is not to want harder, it's to believe deeper. You rewrite belief not by repeating affirmations you don't mean, but by listening to the energy under the words you say to yourself when no one is listening. Do you say, "I'm fine," but your inner voice whispers, "I'm failing"? That whisper is the real frequency. So don't fix the world. Feel your signal. See where it's out of tune. Ask it gentle questions. Give it a new note to hum. This is the quantum shift. Not in effort, but in energy. Not in force, but in frequency. You are always manifesting. The question is, from what signal? There's a rhythm to your being, and it's always playing, even when you're unaware. Imagine your thoughts as a melody, your emotions as the harmony, your physical posture as the beat. These aren't separate instruments, they're one song. And whether you like the tune or not, the world around you is dancing to it. In quantum terms, this is called entrainment. When one vibrating system comes into the proximity of another, the weaker vibration syncs with the stronger. This is why clocks in the same room eventually tick in unison. It's why your energy affects a room, and why a room can affect your energy. It's why one anxious person can disrupt an entire meeting, or why one grounded soul can calm a storm. Your frequency is contagious. So the real question is, what are you entraining others to? Most of us spend our lives unconsciously attuning to chaos, not because we want to, but because we've normalized it. Stress is addictive. Overthinking feels productive. Hustle is worshipped. Slowness is labeled lazy. We become so identified with striving that silence feels unsafe. But in doing so, we begin entraining our nervous systems not to peace, but to pressure. You see this in relationships. The person who always gives but secretly hopes someone will notice. The one who smiles through resentment. The one who stays busy so they never have to be still. These behaviors are not random. They are energetic habits, patterns built from past pain, rehearsed so long they become identity. But you can shift them. You can retune. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about emotional coherence. Coherence doesn't mean you're never sad. It means your sadness flows, doesn't freeze. It means anger informs you but doesn't own you. It means your emotional body, like a river, moves. And in that movement, it clears. You don't need to fight your fear to be free. You need to stop building your house on top of it. You need to see it, hear it, thank it, and move your campfire elsewhere. The quantum field doesn't ask you to be fearless. It asks you to stop vibrating from fear as your home frequency. Think of your life right now. The spaces you dwell in, the habits you repeat, the conversations that drain you, the thoughts that feel like background noise. Each one is an input to your field. Each one either clouds or clarifies your frequency. Ask yourself, what am I in training to that doesn't serve me anymore? Because if you want a different life, you need to emit a different rhythm. Not louder, clearer, not faster, truer. A woman who wakes each morning in quiet gratitude changes more of the world than one who screams her affirmations through clenched teeth. A man who walks into a room and listens deeply recalibrates more hearts than one who talks over everyone to prove his worth. Coherence doesn't require volume. It requires presence. And presence is power, because it means you're no longer leaking energy to regret or rehearsing imaginary tragedies. It means you've stopped reacting to ghosts and started responding to now. When you shift from reactivity to resonance, life feels less like something to survive and more like something you shape. Here's the truth. You're not stuck because your dreams are too big. You're stuck because your signal is too scattered. Bring it home. Feel your breath. Sit with your truth. Let it hum through your spine, through your cells, through your choices. Because once you're in harmony within, the outside can't help but shift to match. There's a paradox at the heart of transformation. The more you try to control the outcome, the more it slips through your fingers. The more you chase, the more life runs. You've been told to hustle, to grind, to visualize with laser intensity, but no one told you the secret buried beneath the noise. It's not the intensity of your wanting that brings your desire closer. It's your ability to feel like it's already yours and to let go. Letting go is not giving up. It is releasing the grip of fear. It is a vote of trust cast into the quantum field, a signal that says, I am not desperate, I am aligned. When you release the need to control, you create space. And in that space, life moves. Alignment is a state of being, not a task list. It's not about doing more to get something. It's about becoming someone. The version of you who already has peace doesn't strive for it. She lives from it. The version of you who is already loved doesn't beg for approval. He embodies love in every breath. The universe reads your frequency, not your checklist. So the question becomes, are you manifesting from wholeness or from the illusion of lack? Lack energy is sneaky. It dresses up as ambition. It says, when I get there, I'll feel enough. But true alignment flips the formula. It says, when I feel enough, I'll get there. This is the quantum twist. Reality doesn't lead emotion, emotion leads reality. Think of a magnet. It doesn't chase metal, it simply holds its field. And what's aligned comes. So hold your field. Not with tension, but with trust. You don't have to fake positivity. You only have to stop feeding the loop of fear. When doubt arises, and it will, treat it like weather. Don't set up camp in the storm. Let it pass through. Breathe, anchor. Remember, you're not here to micromanage the quantum field. You're here to become the kind of vessel that can hold the life you want to live. That vessel is shaped not by willpower, but by surrender. By humility. By stillness that listens instead of panic that screams. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. It's the art of knowing what you desire and loving yourself enough not to demand it from life like a debt, but to receive it like a gift. Ask yourself, where am I gripping so tightly that I've strangled the joy out of becoming? Maybe it's a relationship you've made your only source of worth. Maybe it's a dream you're chasing to prove something. Maybe it's a version of yourself you think you need to fix. But what if you don't need fixing? What if all you need is remembering? The soul doesn't rush. The spirit doesn't panic, the mind does. And the more still you become, the more clearly you hear which voice is speaking. Let go. Not because you don't care, but because you're learning to care differently. With openness instead of obsession. With grace instead of grasping. You don't plant a seed and then dig it up every hour to see if it's growing. You water it, you give it light, you trust the invisible process. Manifestation works the same way. Detachment is not neglect. It's reverence for timing. When you stop trying to force the how, you give life permission to surprise you with the now. And that's the sweet spot. When you are no longer trying to create a life, but to become the person who naturally lives it. You are a creator. Not a metaphorical one, a literal one. Every moment, every thought, every breath carries the potential to collapse infinite probabilities into one lived experience. This isn't mysticism, it's quantum mechanics softened into a human heartbeat, and your heartbeat, when aligned, becomes the drumbeat of a reality that feels like home. The greatest misunderstanding of manifestation is that it's about attracting something outside of you. But in truth, it's about becoming the version of you who naturally aligns with what you seek. The shift isn't in the world, it's in you. It's in the way you walk into a room, in the way you breathe through conflict, in the way you speak to yourself when you feel lost. You're not waiting for permission. You're remembering your power. So what does living as a quantum creator look like? It starts in silence, in the gentle recalibration of intention, in the decision to make your inner state your priority, not your appearance, not your resume, not your past, but your frequency. Because once your frequency shifts, your choices shift. You eat differently, you speak differently. You don't chase things that dim your light. You don't water seeds in soil that can't hold them. You start embodying the version of you who already has peace, love, clarity, not because you're pretending, but because you're tuning. Living as a creator is not about control, it's about coherence. And coherence is not achieved by effort alone. It's anchored by devotion. Devotion to your truth, devotion to your alignment, devotion to becoming, not perfect, but present. This presence allows you to choose with clarity, to say yes when it nourishes and no when it depletes. To walk away from chaos, not out of fear, but from reverence for your peace. To bless the things that don't belong anymore, not with resentment, but with release. From this place, manifestation becomes inevitable, not because the universe suddenly decided you were worthy, but because you finally remembered you were. You stopped asking for evidence. You became the evidence. You walked like it, talked like it, sat in stillness like it. This is the quantum truth. You are not manifesting through force. You are manifesting through identity. Who are you becoming when no one is watching? What signal do you emit when you're not trying to be anything at all? Let that version rise. Speak from that place, create from that place, love from that place, and watch the world rearrange. Not as a reward, but as a reflection. Every breath is a broadcast, every moment a portal, every choice a tuning fork. So slow down, tune in, then move. Move with the intention of the one who knows they are the frequency. Not a victim of circumstance, but a participant in creation. Not a beggar of fate, but a sculptor of vibration. And when things don't go your way, don't collapse, recalibrate. When shadows rise, don't fear them. Integrate. When doubt whispers, don't argue. Recenter. You are never off course. You are always evolving. Even your confusion is part of your clarity's preparation. The life you want is not on layaway. It's waiting at the frequency of your fullest embodiment. So live as if it's already here, not to fool the world, but to awaken yourself. Because the universe listens, not to your words, to your being. If you've made it this far, pause for just a moment, not to consume more, but to feel. Not to analyze, but to remember. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not waiting on a miracle. You are the miracle, tuning itself into clarity. The journey to inner balance isn't about reaching some enlightened state where nothing ever hurts again. It's about becoming so deeply present in your own frequency that nothing outside of you can pull you too far from center. It's about learning to dance with the universe as both participant and observer, creator and creation, field and form. You are already enough, not someday, not when, but now. So the invitation is simple and profound. Live it. Embody it. Let your life be the prayer. Let your breath be the ritual. Let your alignment be your message to the world. If this resonated, I invite you to reflect below. What part of your life are you ready to retune? Leave a comment, share this with someone who's searching, and subscribe for more soul-deep content that speaks to the version of you that's ready to rise. Let's remember together. Let's rise, gently, boldly, homeward.